Hello, Teacher Wayne here. I'm continuing my series, my Game Maker series in making various games. In this one I'm continuing my Space Invader game. Let me just show you where we're at from the last game, part game that I was making in the introduction. So we got it so that they were firing, they were bouncing backwards and forwards, and they were launching bombs, and if they hit me, I died. That's as far as we got, and I just want to continue that and put some extra functionality in there. So let me show you where we are now then, what I'd like to do next. Let me just press play now, show you some extra elements I've added and how I did them. So as you can see, we've got a health bar and we've got a score. If I get hit, I take some damage, and if I hit them with my bullets, my score goes up. So let's just talk about how I did that, and let's look at some other functionality we want to do for this Space Invader game. So let's just go through what I've done. And also you notice that my character went off of the screen at the end of that thing, which is wrong as well. So let's just go through some various bits and pieces. So first of all, I want to introduce this concept called controller. The controller object is what runs in each room. If we look in my room and we look at the bottom, there's a controller object. There it is. It's invisible and it runs in the background. It's something that I have in all my games, all my Game Maker games, that does things. In this one, it's really simple at this stage. In the create event of the controller, so in other words, this happens once this object's created, and once the room starts, we set our lives to 3. I set my score to 0 and I set my health to 100, which is how you want to do when you're starting a game. In the draw event, I'm going to draw stuff to the screen, and this is where we need to know where the X and Y coordinates of things. First of all, the setting the colour, I just set the red. If you notice, the font was red. If we don't set the font to red, you won't ever see it. The colour will be, you'll be getting a score, but we'd never actually see it displayed. This here is an optional thing that might not exist in the version of Game Maker that you've got, because I think it gets removed in older versions. You don't really necessarily need this, so don't worry too much if you can't find it. This is the key bits here. So we're drawing the value of the score, and here's the X and Y coordinates of where we want it on the screen. I'll show you in a minute where that will be and how I got that. And then we're drawing the health bar, and that is basically, we start with this X and Y and we end at this X and Y. So it's, you notice I've got it 200 thick, and no, sort of going from 200 to 300, so it's 100 across by that sort of deep, which is about 36 thick, and it goes from green to red. Really quite straightforward in this controller event. The controller event, remember, as I've said, it's visible, but you can't actually see it because there's no sprite attached to it. You don't have to have it visible. I think I can actually make that like that as well. I don't think it'll make any difference personally. But we've also got to get some other functionality. So let me go through the other functionality. So when I fire my bullets, if a bang hits me, I don't die this time. What I want to do is get it so that my health gets relative to -10. So basically, if you look through here, score, you find this little icon there. We'll just do it for you really quickly, and then you see it. You just drag that over there. You set it to -10, and always remember tick relative, and that reduces the health by 10. Eventually, you're going to have some mechanism that checks if your health goes below 0, you lose a life, and if you lose all your lives, you die. But we'll look at that later. Now, obviously, the baddies, we need some sort of mechanism, and then if they get hit by the bullet, we want our score to increase. So I've just put here, add set score relative to 10. So once again, here, I've got this function here, and I've just added it up here, and I've just set 10 relative, so it increases my score by 10. So that's straightforward little addition. Another thing is, if that bang hits me, we got a collision with me. Like I said, we destroy. First thing we want to do is we don't destroy the bang. If we don't destroy the bang, it'll keep damaging me and I'll just die because my health would just be reduced. You got the first thing got to destroy it, then reduce the health. And that's all I've done really. It's quite straightforward, and that's how I get it working. So let me just press play just to recap where we are, and let's look at some other elements we can put in. Now you notice there's nothing happening at the bottom of the screen. The controller's not running, so I'm just going to make it visible again. Press play. So I think it does make a difference about it being visible. Yep, it's going to be visible. Oh, that's why, because it's a draw event. Without the draw event, nothing will happen. So let me just take some damage and put this in. So there, you have to be visible. So let's go back to the controller again. Let's put a bit more functionality in there. Let's put a bit of checking in there. Control is where all the mechanism, I believe, takes place of checking the health and stuff. So let's add a step event in here, and let me just check something. So if we get to a place where our health gets less than 10, because that in other words, just hit the last bomb, we want to lose a life. So what we're going to do is we want to do this, and we want to use this little bracket to say if everything happens within these brackets. I'll move that one there. We're going to put some stuff in there now. So score, what we want is we want to reduce the health by -1 relative. So in other words, we just reduce it by 1. We also, but what happens if our health goes below 0? So we want to check our health while we're at it. So put this here. If our health ever gets equal to 0, then we want to do something else. So I'll put another little brackets in here just to show things. What we're going to do, well, we're going to die, aren't we? If our health gets below, we're actually going to die. So what I'm going to do is I'll just put very simple, you died. I have a little message, and then I'll get a little reset thing which I had in the previous one. I'll get to reboot. Get the message before we do a reboot. So if the health is not equal to 0, we want our no, lives, Wayne. It's lives, not health. Just hang on a minute. I've got to completely screw this up. What I mean is set lives to -1. We reduce our lives. We set our health to 100. Not relative, sets it straight to 100. Reduce our lives by 1. If our lives is equal to 0, not health, sorry about that. So if we set our lives -1, if our lives ever equal here, we'll do that. Set our health to 100 as well. So can you see, let's go through this. If our health is smaller than 10, we set our health immediately to 100. We reduce our lives to -1. If our lives ever drop to 0, we display a message and restart. That's it. Really simple. So this control event controls all that, and we then, in the meantime, we're painting it all up to the screen. We want to obviously draw the lives as well, so that we know how many we've got. Let's just look at where we're going to draw it. So if we open up our room up, now I'm actually playing over it. Might be an idea to just slide this up a bit. And we want to move, we want to sort of paint, put a health bar here. So let's look. That there is 65 by 737. We have our, if we have our health bar from there, 65 by 737. 65 by 737. 65 by 737. So we want it to be 100 more than that, so we'll have it 765. Oops. 737. we get this right. So we want that as 75. No, we want it 165 by 737. Let's make it 32 more. 759. I don't know, 60. Let's try 60. So that's what I'm guessing it. So the health bar will stop at 760 across. Let me just check. Now you see the Y doesn't change. It's me. I'm completely screwed up here. 65 to 160. Ah yeah, that's alright, because we want it down a bit. 737 to 760. 737, that's fine. That's the top, that's the bottom. So 165. So let's put the value of the score at, we said 165, so let's make it 165, 75, so it's 10 more pixels than that. And 6, was it 3, 4? Same level as that, so it puts it there. So we've drawn the health bar, we've drawn the value of the score. Now we're going to put the lives, that's 175, 185 there. In fact, let's make it 200 just across a bit, and 707. Is it 35? 34? I think it is. Let's have a look. I can never remember. 37. 37. Change that to 7. Let's just see what this works out as. I know it's a bit incoherent there. Yeah, let's see the lives overlapping the score. So let's just move the lives across. Lives. There. So we're going to do it quite considerable. Let's make it 500. Probably quite a bit further across there. See how this looks like. Yeah, there are lives far too across, but you see the point I'm trying to make here. And we're getting some damage being taken a little bit. What we want is my ship here to bounce off these walls. It's not doing it at the moment. We also want to look at a functionality of firing one bullet to